Leon County football, oh so close to kicking off. And of course, when you're talking LCS football here in the Big Bend, you got to talk about the Godby Cougars. 2020 season getting ready to kick off this Friday. Tony, what's got you excited off West Tharp Street? What are the Godby Cougars bringing to the table this season?
Well, I tell you what, those Tharp Street boys always have me excited because you know that they're going to bring some fire whenever they play. The most important position that I'm really concerned about is going to be who's going to be taking the reins because Trey Fisher has gone from quarterback. And the answer, Lonnie Williams. Lonnie Williams, of course, he's a 6-footer, 190 pounds, has an athletic kind of quarterback with accuracy and a running ability. So we're looking for Lonnie Williams to actually pick up where Trey Fisher left off. Of course, Lonnie Williams was playing on the special teams last year and did a tremendous job, but Coach Brandon McCray has him right where he wants him in that quarterback position. And of course, being a running quarterback, he's going to have some company in the backfield as well, Drew, and you know all about those guys.
Absolutely. So, yeah, of course, we talked about him. He will see some design runs and, of course, improvising as well, will Lonnie Williams, in this run game. So he will play a big factor in going forward. But, of course, you can't forget about the Thunder and Lightning, Tony. The speedster, Chase Gillespie. Of course, first team All-Big Bend last year, 1,400 yards, 15 touchdowns. He's going to bring a lot of dynamic plays to the table here behind this big offensive line. And then you got to go to the Thunder. Talk about the bruiser, Mason Anderson. He's going to wear you down early and often, Tony. One of those guys in the fourth quarter that you do not want to see going into a head-on-head collision here trying to bring that man down. So, of course, him and Williams will kind of be the power side of this run game. But that doesn't say that he doesn't have speed, Tony. And he's also got some hands coming out of the backfield. But he broke down the running game for us very distinctly when we were able to catch up with him in practice, Tony.
Gillespie, he's our speed back. Most definitely going to take something to the crib this year. Lonnie, another power runner, very efficient at his cuts and what he's good at seeing on the field. And then, like I said, I'm just a power back. I got good vision. I'm definitely going to get up out of there. I'm the turn-up man, so I'm definitely leaned on when it comes to the run game. But I'm really just excited to be here, to play with my boys. My last year, I got to go out with a bang.
So, of course, Godby known for the run and the defense, Tony. So tell me a little bit about the dark side, as it's known on campus at Godby, on the other side of the football, man. I know there's some excitement there as well.
Well, Jupe, I tell you what, when you talk about the Godby Cougars, you've got to talk about defense as well. Those guys haven't won those championships for nothing. And it's always the defense that wins championships. We know that. We know that. And the Sky Patrol is one of the most experienced elements that the Godby Cougars are going to have. The Sky Patrol, of course, is led by Deshaun Rucker. He's a senior, stands 5'11", 184 pounds, and this guy is already committed to Tennessee. He had 62 tackles last year, along with 3 picks and a touchdown, 7 pass breakups, and 7 second-team All-Big Bend. He's joined back there at the other corner by Kawan Banks, who's also had several D1 offers as well, including Tennessee, Ole Miss, Nebraska. This guy, and Cincinnati. Let's not forget Cincinnati, the Bearcats. But Kawan Banks is only a junior. He was an honorable mention Big Bend player last year. Had 52 tackles, 1 interception, and 8 pass breakups. And this guy is a beast, and everybody knows it around the country. And so we're looking forward to having the Sky Patrol make sure that life is miserable for any wide receivers or running backs who have the nerve to try to come and throw in that backfield. But I tell you what, when you talk about the defense, you can't overlook those guys up front. That defensive line, those are some beasts as well.
Yeah, absolutely, Tony. And you know Coach McCray loves to talk about the trenches, both on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. Of course, we got some big boys up on the line, Tony, which is a great accommodation to go with the Sky Patrol on the back end. You got to talk about the mean nose guard, defensive lineman Jalen Gaines, and then, of course, Xavier Young, the Washington State commit, coming into the party as well. These guys are going to be chasing after the quarterback, both up the middle and on the perimeter, Tony. And we know, like we talked about, a good defensive line complements a good secondary. You know, you get coverage, and the defensive line can get pressure on the quarterback. You get pressure on the quarterback, force a throw, and then the backside of that defense is going to come away with an interception, Tony. So great to have it at both levels. But that doesn't mean we're missing out on the middle, man. We can't forget about Amari Alexander and the linebacking core here for Godby, another exciting element of this Godby Cougars defense. We were actually able to catch up with Amari here earlier in the week, and he's really excited, just kind of the feeling and intensity and excitement here around the Godby program coming up for this season.
We just got to execute as defense, execute as a team, everybody playing together, hard ball, smash mouth football. That's all we really want to come out here and do, really. Godby football is a standard. If you ain't living to the standard, you really can't even come out here and practice. So it's tough. Like, you see, we hitting each other, getting at each other, trying to get better each day.
So, Tony, now we know a little bit about the personnel, of course, offense, especially the defense. Talk to a couple of the guys, their thoughts on everything going on. Let's go into the microscope, zoom out a little bit, though, Tony. Talk more big picture, some of the differences of this season. What are some of the storylines that we haven't seen in years past that you want to focus on this year?
Well, I tell you what, Juke, one of the biggest things is that for the first time in a very long time, we're going to have a lot of city teams matching up against each other. In fact, as you may know, as you may not know, there will be no city teams playing outside of Tallahassee. No, all the city teams will be playing city teams, in other words. So there's no Wakulla and Godby playing this year, unless we get to the playoffs, of course. The playoffs, that's a long ways away because we never know what's going to happen from one week to the next. Hopefully we will get to that point. But, all of the games are going to be played on campus, so there won't be any Gene Cox Stadium games this year. All the games are going to be played on the prospective campuses. There are a lot of changes that, are put into place simply for the protection of the fans and for the players themselves. Of course, when you start talking about the fans, there's going to be limited visibility, limited seating in the stadiums. So, most of those games are going to be intimate settings on the respective school campuses, and looking forward to having some really good football played, but just in a very different kind of atmosphere.
Yeah, absolutely, Tony. It's going to be very interesting to watch, and I love that you bring up the city schedule. Of course, they cannot play anybody outside of Leon County. Of course, a mandate that they came up with it before the season is part of the protocol in order to hopefully play all the games and get to the playoffs. So that's the big objective, is getting there and at least having a chance to compete. And so basically with everybody getting into the playoffs, these are just all exhibition games anyways, so why not keep it in the county? So it'll be interesting, but the big kind of result of that is we will have a city champion potentially crowned if we get all these games in, Tony, because it's been a couple years, and especially Godby has had a very Georgia-heavy schedule, or a lot of different things have prevented these city teams from playing the other four city teams. But as long as we get healthy and we can play the majority of these games, we should have every team playing at least every other team once. And so we'll get a city champion crown, Tony, for the first time in 2 or 3 years. So it's going to be very exciting. And I think a lot of the guys are excited for that in playing some of these local teams.
Everybody's really excited. It's our first game in like a long time, so everybody coming out practice, working hard each and every day. We're just trying to get to the first game. And Corona's been messing up a lot of stuff, so hopefully we can play the games after that.
Well, I tell you what, Juke, everyone is excited about this season, including Coach Brandon McCray, who's going into his second year at the helm of the Godby Cougars. And he had this to say about the mindset of the team.
We just tell the guys, you can't really take anything for granted. We've been preaching that since last year. You get one opportunity, you never know when it could be your last play. So really every time that we're blessed to come out here and participate in this sport, just take it one play at a time and just have the most fun you can, because you never know when it's over. And we understand that that's a possibility.
Yeah, Coach McCray prepping the boys for a season unlike any other, Tony. So it's going to be a lot to watch. Make sure to stay updated here at Varsity Sports Network. We'll track the Cougars for the broadcast, games, schedules, updates, highlights, everything that they have going on. Of course, they're going to kick off their season September 25th, hosting Charles, 7 p.m. on campus of West Tharp Street.